Hey, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for Game Changers. Every month we feature someone who's changing the game in the Lehigh Valley. This month I'm really excited, really excited. From Olympus, my friend Julien Sauvagnargues. I got that right, Julien? I want to make sure I get that right.
You got that right, Tony.
First and foremost, thank you for what you do, and welcome to the Lehigh Valley.
Thank you so much, Tony. Very nice to spend some time with you today.
You know, Julien, I've thankfully having been here at the Chamber, I got to travel a fair amount in the last 10, 15 years. And I love my time in France, which is just an amazing place. I always say if I move two places, it'd either Italy or France. You grew up, tell people a little about Julien and your early stages of both your life and your professional life.
Sure. So I was born in France. I was born in the Alps, so it's southeast of France. I was born in Albertville. This is a small town in the Alps. Maybe you heard of Albertville because this is where the Olympic Games in 1992 were held. And I spent most of my childhood over there, close to the same place. And then I moved to Paris for studying. Spent a little time also in the south of France, in Nice, very nice places. And I actually joined the US. I came to the US in 2012 thanks to Olympus. So actually, I joined Olympus in 2006. And before that, before Olympus, I was working with different kind of heavy industries, paper mills and steel factories, believe it or not. And I just mentioned that because at that time, I used to work for a big company called Arcelor, and it was a big competitor of Bethlehem Steel. So I heard of Bethlehem long time ago. I didn't know where it was. And then after working in this steel company, I joined Olympus. Through the scientific solution division. This is all the products we do for microscopy and for a kind of inspection in the industrial world. So I did that for a couple of years. And then I moved towards a different kind of business we used to have at Olympus, which is the consumer camera business. So you probably heard about the Olympus cameras. Maybe you own one at that time. But this is what I used to sell when I was in France. And this is what I started to do when I came to the US in 2012 with my family. We moved here. And thanks to Olympus, I came to the Lehigh Valley. I started to know Bethlehem, where I live now, right? I saw the old Bethlehem Steel factory. And I've been working with Olympus in the US since 2012, doing different things. Always in sales and marketing functions, first with the camera business, also with the scientific solution business as well here in the US. And since almost a year now, since the 1st of April 2020, I've been the president of Olympus Corporation of the Americas. So this is everything we do, not only in the US, but US, Canada, Latin America, and I'm very glad to be able to do that from the Lehigh Valley, actually.
Yeah, we're really glad to have you. I have to tell you, Julien, I got engaged. My wife and I got engaged in Nice. So I figured, well, I mean, I couldn't miss. If I beautiful restaurant in Nice, it was it was a pretty good shot. I thought I had. So what a beautiful place. You can speak to that. So I want to ask you this: we have grown as a valley, both in economically as well as quality of life. We used to be maybe more insular. Did you feel when you got here, it's not, some people feel it's not the easiest place to sort of integrate and feel welcome, but we're getting a little better at it, I guess is what I want to say.
Yeah, actually, not so much myself, but maybe a little bit more my wife. So let me explain, because when I came here, I was extremely busy with my new job, settled in a new country. I was all over the place, and because I was working here, it's easy to integrate with the colleagues, right? With your work life. For my wife, it has been a little bit longer, right? Because she had to start knowing people. So I think it was how we lived it. But it was not that difficult. I was actually very pleasantly surprised by the warm welcome we got when we arrived here. I think the kids are also helping a lot, right? When we came here, our two daughters, one was 5 years old, the other one was not even 3, was 2.5. And because we had kids, we start meeting people as well, right? So, and this is a great way, I think, to be integrated in a community, you know, in a place, in a location. So I think we lived it very well. That's why we stayed, right? I mean, it's been 9 years, and this is our home now. It's because we like it, obviously, right? So it was very easy. I compare to what I know in France. I think in general the people here are more welcoming than the people in France. It's easier. It's taking less time. I think it's because of the history of this country. This is a young country, right? And this is a country of immigrants. So it's very visible when you arrive.
You know, I wanted to ask you this, and that is, Julien, that, you know, Olympus, say like Air Products, could be anywhere in the world, anywhere. And I want to make sure that our viewers understand, you know, how appreciative we are that Olympus is here and had headquarters here when they could go anywhere. And number one, thank you for that. And why do you think being here has been a good thing? The workforce, or what are some of the assets?
Yeah, definitely, Tony. I mean, it's a two-way streets, right? It's a win-win situation. I believe that the Lehigh Valley is glad to have Olympus, but Olympus is very happy to have the Lehigh Valley, right? And some reasons for that. The people first. The people. I think we have a great pool of talents here because of the education we can offer to young people, because of the health care facilities we have here, because of the location, right? The location is also very, very important. The fact that we are close to airports, big airports, the fact that we are close to 2 big cities as well is helping a lot. We have, as Olympus here, a great deal of key partners in Pennsylvania in general, but mostly in the Lehigh Valley. And we also find the talents in our partners, right? Not only in our employees, but with all the companies we can work with here in terms of marketing, communication, promotion, construction, everything we need to help us develop our business. And a couple more things for me, particularly because I came 9 years ago, I did not realize that, but I believe the quality of life is very good here. It's for me, and I believe at least for people with a family, it's a great balance, right? You again, you have healthcare options, you have education for your kids, you have a dynamic area, right? This is a growing place, so that's key for us, for our development, but for the people who are joining us as well, the cost of living is good compared to other places as well. So I think it's a very good package, right? And that's why the plan for Olympus is to stay here, but actually to develop here, right? To grow here. Tony, we have our headquarters for the Americas here, so we have almost 1,000 people working here in our building in Center Valley. But sometimes we forget to mention that we also have our primary distribution center, our biggest warehouse here in Breningsville. We employ 40 people there, but this is the biggest distribution center we have in the US, in the Americas in general. And the location is key as well, right? This is a perfect hub to have a warehouse, a distribution center, and you see that a lot of people are actually building warehouses here for a good reason, because it's a crossroad, because from here we can deserve a big part of the country, the Northeast, which is the biggest part in terms of revenue for us, in terms of number of customers. So again, the location, the people, the talents, quality of life is all the good reasons for us to grow here.
Boy, and am I thankful for that. So thank you, Julien, for that. That's a great point. One of the things I wanted to ask you also, I'm really always interested in culture. I think culture of organizations is so important. And Olympus has been such an amazing company. And, you know, in an ever-changing, rapidly changing world where you have to keep up with the changes, just maybe your thoughts on what you think the 2 or 3 key pieces to the Olympus culture and why it's been so successful.
Yes. So maybe you know it because you've been on our website, maybe you know, but the purpose of Olympus is to make people's life safer, healthier, and more fulfilling, right? So that's a big part of our culture. Then we have values around that, like integrity, empathy, long-term view, agility, unity. These are our main values, which are kind of our identity and obviously which are also defining our culture. And one more value and cultural important thing we have is our attention and promotion of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Right. So in a few words, I'm trying to define a long-lasting culture. Right. But that's what we try to say to the world we are. But as well, we have all our history and legacy, which is defining our culture. So we are a Japanese company, as you know, right? We are a company which is 102 years old or 101 year old, right? So it's a lot of history behind that, which has developed in many different kind of area of businesses. The medical business is the biggest one today, right, by far. The scientific solution and inspection business is the number 2, and we just sold the imaging consumer camera business at the beginning of this year, right? But this is our history, and this is also defining our culture. We are a medtech company born from technology, right? R&D is important to us. New product development is important to us, and our roots are into optics and electronics, right? This is what defined the Olympus products and technology at the beginning. So a lot of things I'm trying to put in a small sentence here, but this is who we are, and this is also what we want to become. So for example, I told you, okay, one of our core values is long-term view. I think this is very Japanese. This is much more Japanese than American, and this is a strong legacy from, again, our Japanese roots. But on the other hand, we also want to be agile. Agility is another of our core value. And this is where subsidiaries like the one in the America or the one in Europe can bring, to Olympus. So I think it's this kind of mix, this kind of diverse culture that we have today, which is defining Olympus.
Yeah, and for people who don't get, or we're lucky enough to have gotten to know you, Julien. You have a really great personality, so it doesn't surprise me that you sort of found a home here pretty quickly because you just have that way about you. But I wanted to ask you, sometimes people don't realize when you're doing business globally, the difference between doing business in, say, Europe compared to the States. Was there anything that was, a difference that you noticed almost immediately and had to adjust to?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let me try to have a spectrum to give you an image, Tony. On the one side, you're going to have the US. On the other side, you're going to have Japan. And in the middle, it's Europe. Uh-huh. And what if I take one example for that? Japan is all about planning before doing. We need to think hard. We need to be sure. The US is about acting, right? You have to act fast. You can fail and act again and correct and fail again. If you fail fast, it's fine, but you have to act quick. and you can understand here the difference of the culture and sometimes the shock of the cultures, right?
Julien, I used to have a friend that said America was ready, fire, aim instead of ready, aim, fire. Ready, fire, aim.
Exactly.
Just go.
Yeah. And I think Europe is kind of in the middle, right? It's a little bit of planning and also some acting. But definitely, when I came to the US, the speed was different. That's what I realized. The commitment and the ownership of the people here were higher. Work ethic is great here, at least in the Valley. And that's, I did not say that, when you ask me why the Valley, I think that's also a very important point. We have the talented people, but there is a very strong work ethic. People are hard workers, committed, engaged. They are taking ownership of what they do. And it's key for a company like Olympus, right? We want to empower our people. We want them to do things rather than waiting for us to tell them what to do. So I think that's what I really liked when I started to work here. Is really this passion about the work and this commitment and engagement.
Yeah, I think one of the things we're doing here at the Chamber, in fact, we just went through an exercise with our nominating committee, which was very clearly focused on diversity, this diversity, equity initiative, and so on, inclusion. And I know that's important too. And particularly, you're a company that's so diverse geographically and otherwise. And Julien, I know that's a commitment that you have. Can you just touch on that a little bit in terms of Olympus and the DEI initiatives that you find very important?
Yeah. So for us, it's key. It's part of our values. It's part of our identity. We believe it's the right thing to do. We believe it's better for the business, right? A diverse team is stronger. That's for sure. Every study will show you that. So what do we do? What do we do internally to promote and develop diversity, equity, inclusion? A few things. And I will not be comprehensive here because this company is doing a lot. But first of all, it's all about the tone at the top. Our leaders, including myself, in every big meeting, in our internal communication, either internal or external communication, by the way, we have to state who we are and what we want to be in terms of the EI, right? That we don't tolerate racism, for example, right? So that should come first from the top, very clear. We do a lot of listening sessions, and that's key to us as well. It's key to understand how our Olympus African-American community is living the recent event, the same for the Asian community, the same for LGBTQ community. So we need to listen to them to understand how they live today, how they live in their community, how they live within Olympus, and what we can do to support, to help them, to be sure we don't have any bias, right? These kind of things. We have in place a structure which is allowing also the promotion and the development of DEI. We have a dedicated team, and we have something which is very important to us, which are the colleagues affinity networks. We call them CANs. This is a group of people who are getting together around one common, theme or trait. And again, we have the African American CAN, we have LGBTQ CAN, we have the veteran CAN, we have the Latino CAN, and so on, the Asian American CAN, and so on and so on. And these groups of people are organized, are structured, are good ways, very good ways for us, to engage more people into DEI, but also give strong exposure to some key issues, right? Because we have a place to talk about that. We have the place, to make programs around that. Our programs are also very important here. When I say program, it's a lot of things. From trainings, we do DEI training to our mandatory training for all our people leaders. We provide resources, information. We need to inform, right? We need to inform people because we are fighting ignorance most of the time here. We put some DEI targets in our MBOs, in our goals for the year. We have champions, DEI champions in the whole organization, not only here in Central Valley, But we have several facilities and buildings. We have more than 1,500 people on the field. So we need relays. We need to be able to convey the message everywhere. So we have a lot of people engaged into these different programs. So that's a lot of what's happening today within Olympus, really to promote the diversity, equity, inclusion. We also try to do some things externally, right? I mean, first of all, by participating to programs in the Valley, by discussing with external stakeholders like the Chamber. I know the Chamber has a strong DEI program as well, right? So this kind of communication, exchange of best practices, exchange of views is key. It's key for us because everything we do internally and externally to promote DEI is a way to attract the right talent to the Valley as well, right? And business now is a fight for talent. That's what business is, basically. And if we tell the world that Olympus, the Lehigh Valley are good places, to be safe, to develop any kind of individual.
Yeah.
I mean, we give a great service to us and to the location we are in. So it's key. It's key for us, and that's why I can speak about that for hours. So you're gonna have to stop me, but I really want to continue what this company has done in the Lehigh Valley for the.
Yeah, we appreciate that, and you've really set a great example. So thank you for that. I think we're all trying to be better every day. I'm going to bring in Lauren Spence. We always have Lauren with our Game Changers come in and ask a question from some of our younger professionals that are moving into this market that are so key. So Lauren Spence, it's all yours. Your chance to talk to Julien.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you so much, Julien. It's been so interesting hearing about your experience coming to the Valley and your interpretation of our community here, as well as the work you're doing at Olympus, which is amazing. I want to ask you, when you think back to the beginning of your professional life, did you envision your career as it is today?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because it's hard to imagine all the possibilities, right? And as I told you, I started to work in a very heavy industrial kind of companies, going from paper to metal. Then I joined Olympus, did sell some microscopes, some endoscopes, and then some. So I was on the B2B side of the activity, and then I moved on the consumer side of the activity. So impossible to know when I started my career that I would live in a different country neither, right? So I think my point probably here is that you, as a young professional, you have to be open to opportunities, because opportunities will come.
That is amazing advice. Thank you so much, Julien. I'm also wondering, if you had to look back on everything you've learned throughout your professional career, what would you say is the most important leadership lesson you learned?
Well, there's a lot, but I think something I do well. I'm a good listener, so I would encourage people to listen and really to be convinced that you can learn at every age and in every position, right? So it's true, obviously, when you're a young professional, but even old professional like me have to spend time learning, right? So that's one big lesson, I guess, because you think you know something until you realize you don't know that much, right? So that's one of them, and the other one is really that there is talent everywhere. There is talent everywhere, and you just have to look for it. I'm surprised every day when I work with the teams in Olympus here by the quality of the people we have and what they can accomplish, right? So that's really the point here.
Julien, you're an amazing guy. I'm so glad we have you here in the Valley. And we, like every one of the game changers, but this one in particular, I know, Lauren, you agree. We try to stay in this time frame, and we're already way past it because it's so interesting.
Right.
But I don't want to know. I'm so glad it was so great. But I wanted to give you a chance, which I always like to do, to your parting thoughts. What you'd want to say to the thousands that will ultimately view this. Just your thoughts about the Valley, Olympus, whatever is on your mind. Your parting thoughts.
No, it's hard to make it short, but I just want first of all to say thank you to the Valley to have welcomed my family and me. I just want the people here to realize that they have a great place, and I'm really amazed. I spent 9 years here, and the Valley I came to 9 years ago is not the Lehigh Valley of today. So this place is changing. This place is changing fast because it has the potential to change. So let's all together, Olympus employees and everybody else, continue this change, driving this change toward, an even better place, because we have the potential, we have the people, we have everything to succeed here and to continue to grow.
What an amazing message. Julien, Sauvagnargues, so great to have you. Now, I'm going to let Lauren Spence close us out. Julien, I hope I get to see you a lot more, and stay in shape, by the way. You're in really good shape. I think you're a cyclist, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do some biking and some tennis to try to keep myself in shape.
Yeah, I know that feeling, but probably not to the degree that you're able to do it. All right, Lauren, it's all yours.
Thanks so much, Tony. Thank you, Julien, for joining us today and for being such an amazing partner at the Chamber. It's been a pleasure talking with you and learning from you and learning all about your culture over at Olympus. You really are changing the game for our community, so we thank you. Mm-hmm. To our viewers at home, we hope you enjoyed this installment of Game Changers, and we look forward to connecting with you next time. Be sure to stay tuned on the Chamber's social media pages for our next episode, and we'll see you soon.